Hello there, welcome back here on Prime Morning. It's time for us to get into our last conversation for the day and wrap up for this week here on the show. Many thanks to Nutri Snacks once again for making us have these conversations every day here on Prime Morning. My guest in the studio, I've got Robert Clark. Now, he's not a new person. This man has been around in every conversation that has happened here in Ghana. He's the PR for Charterhouse, and he's spending time with us here on the show this morning. Also, I have our very own in-house personality, Kwame Kwame has a certain Kwame has a friend is saying Kradin atop exactly send me repeat me be show am come near talk about this na me be show am now Kwame atop. That's it. It's also here in the studio. He's with Joy 99.7 FM. He's always on your radio, 2 p.m. on Saturdays with Showbiz A to Z. Please do well to listen. Okay. Anyway, guys, what's up? Everything good? Every day. Nice one. So, two things we're looking at this morning. Yeah. The book thing that seems to be going on right now with the entertainers. And then we also look at the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park. But these are very key things that we want to look at. First of all, Kwame, do you think that Adjetey Anang's book has made an impact in our space?
I don't know how we are assessing the impact.
We're assessing it based on what has happened before.
I don't know if we know his objectives. I don't know if we know why he wrote the book. And so if there is any impact, we should ask what he intends to achieve with the book before we can assess the impact. Aside from that, I don't know if you are talking about maybe the buzz or the attention.
All of them.
Yeah, because if that is where you're coming from, then on the back of Yvonne Nelson's book, I'm not Yvonne Nelson, we all saw the controversy. And even as of now, we still
we're making references.
A few stories here and there about maybe Sarkodie and all that from the whole controversy. I think, you see, people write memoirs every day. People tell their stories. We've had Asamoah Chame Kwame,
Bola has written Bola. It is possible.
A lot of people. But I think what really gave this one the attention was the revelation of the Sarkodie, the abortion case in Yvonne Nelson's book.
Yeah.
And then also happening right after that is Push's own book. Now, the expectation from a lot of people is, okay, so we just read one book a few weeks ago and the content is more of revelations. And so what is in this one? So you could see that even though Adjetey Anang is not talking about, maybe relationship alone. He's talking about everything from education to his career challenges to the fact that it took him 7 years to get a child and all that. But as human as we are, we always go to where the vibe is, the buzz is. And that is why, for example, people will be talking about the fact that he said he cheated on his wife.
It was the only point that we saw the book making some, or getting some attention, if you like.
Exactly. And so if the impact you're talking about is about the attention, I think it has gotten some attention, but if you want to compare to Yvonne Nelson's book, there is a gap. Because for weeks, we were talking about Yvonne Nelson's book, even for the fact that Sarkodie also came back to reply to Yvonne's allegations in the book and all that, the back and forth. So that could be our assessment of impact if it's about the buzz or the talkability. But if you want to look at what the writer seeks to achieve with a book, then we would want to ask him, are people reading? And if they're reading,
would it have to do with the sales as well?
Maybe sales as well, yes. And the fact that maybe he sought to maybe educate people, throw some light on his life, his career, and everything. Robert has read the book, like more chapters of the book. Some of us just read the cheating aspect. And then the political side where he said there was a point when a particular political party approached him to endorse a flag bearer, and he declined at the time when he was broke. Maybe if it's where you and I, or Robert, would have gone for it, but he felt that he had some integrity to protect, and so he had values and all that, so he didn't go for it. So these are portions that I have read, and I was intrigued by the cheating aspect, because in this industry, you know, people talk about the fact that if you are a creative person, you are more or less likely to cheat or to be indulged in some of these acts. And so people were like, okay, but this man doesn't look it. He's a bit reserved, he's a bit calm. Hey, I just think somebody to cheat on his wife and all that. So that is something that would interest anybody who is out there, anybody who wants to consume news out there. And that is why maybe at this point in time, the book has gotten some talkability. Yeah, but apart from that, I think it's a general memoir, somebody telling his story from his perspective, you know, school and everything. And I think that we should all go get the book and read the other part of it, and then get some lessons from that. Yeah.
Robert, you have read the entire book.
He was there at the launch, actually.
Yeah, I was there actually.
You were there too?
Yeah,
and you didn't read the book.
I'm still reading. Robert, let's look at this. So, yes, before he releasing the book, a lot of people thought that, okay, because he's pusher, there's going to be a lot of things that he has done, even more than what Yvonne Nelson wrote in the book, because Pusher at that time was big. He may have done so many things that we're expecting that he would do. Naturally, women would have gone to him because this guy was popular. But we didn't find most of those things happening there. Do you think he was a bit careful, in as much as he wanted to tell his own story? He was careful that he doesn't really bring certain things that would end up maybe tarnishing that image that he has been able to build for himself now. Cheating, yes, but I mean, do you think he was extra careful in putting this together?
Well, he's a Christian.
First of all,
the Bible says, by your words you shall be justified. And by your words...
a Christian too.
I'm responding to his question.
Sorry.
No. All I'm saying is, you see, the subtitle of the book says faith,
yes,
imperfection, and resilience. So I always want to bring that particular, because it's highlighted it. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And so clearly, by your words you shall be justified, by your words you shall be condemned. And in the book, you would also realize that they are aware of the media and its possible impact, and how they're able to meddle in private affairs, and how they are able to blow things out, sometimes even wrongly, until later they discover. And then if you have the grace of God, will come and correct it. But who sees the correction that
which he has done anyway?
Yeah. So the reality is that I think that he's written what he feels is comfortable with. In fact, not just him, but what him and his wife think should go out, and that is what has gone out. I know the Pusher character is not Adjetey Anang, because anybody who knows him would know that, like, the character is in clear contrast of who he is. So that is never him. And in the book, again, you would discover, and anybody who walks around him knows that one of his best, one of the things that makes him stand out is the fact that he's able to bring a particular character to life. And in the book, you even, in learning about, or in getting ready, preparing to be able to act out the character Pusher, he had to sit in a particular bar, buy a drink, and observe people act in that particular way, because those were the characters that were there. And he would go there, sit down, and watch the people over and over again, watch gestures and movements and their reactions, the way they talk, mannerisms and all of that, and then he'd be practicing it. And that is one of the things he used in building that particular character. And so he was able to play so flawlessly that at some point people actually even thought he was the person. You know, and he shared various encounters where a parent actually told the child that, hey, you know, move away from him, don't talk to strangers, and then they took the child away because they thought the guy was Pusher, as like the real Pusher, that kind of stuff. So so I think that he shared what he thinks he should share, and that's it for me.
In terms of impact, like Kwame mentioned, you think that if he had mentioned, or if people had read the part where the cheating was, you know, all over the place and all that, it would have really gotten that, because it took a while before people now started getting to know that, oh, there was some cheating part in there. Even that, we're made to actually believe now that it's not the physical cheating that we're all thinking that it is.
But he wrote both physically and emotionally
physical.
in the book.
In the book.
Yeah, but he says that it's not what it is. Like the way
physical there is emotional.
I don't have access to that information, but
no, in an interview, he confirmed that
interview, is it a very recent interview?
It was recent. He had it on TV3.
Oh, he did. Oh, okay.
Yes, and he said that.
And he said, you watched it?
I've seen it.
I've seen the video, but I think
You've seen the video? Did you watch it?
Yeah. He said that he was interviewed about the response he's getting. And he said, oh, he didn't think that it was going to be like, you know, the way he's receiving it, because really, what he wanted to put out is what he's put out. So if people are reading meanings into some of the things, he may probably want to clear it. He's not even worried about the fact that people are not jumping on it like the way they did with Yvonne Nelson.
Yeah.
You understand?
I think for me, first of all, let's just understand that the story of Yvonne Nelson is different from the story of Adjetey Anang. All right? And it's a revelation. Yvonne's own has got components of revelations that shock people, and that involved certain people that they have never, like people who have actually protected their image or reputation built over a period in such a way that you would not think that they had anything to do with that kind of stuff, and that's quite different.
Yeah.
And, you know, SAC natives are a lot huge, so then therefore when it comes to conversations of this nature, it's going to have a different turn. And when you get to Adjetey Anang's components, no name was mentioned. It was just focused on him. You understand? And I also want us to see this as, if you plant seedlings, right, or if you plant trees whatsoever, there are some that take 5 years and they will still grow to their full potential, and others will germinate within 6 months, and you even harvest them.
Yeah.
But they are all, each one of them is in its own lane. So I just think that we should allow Adjetey Anang's book to grow in its own time, on its own timeline, achieve what it's supposed to achieve, its own lifespan.
With no explanations.
You can give the explanations and stuff like that, but allow the life, allow it to walk on its own timeline. Yvonne's own is also, you know, experiencing its own. I mean, let's just allow each of them to breathe, have their own oxygen, and then live to their fullest. That's what I think with respect to the otherwise, it feels like if I release a book and it doesn't follow this particular format in terms of performance, then it means that my book is not working. No, there are books that also have. Look, one of the best-selling books ever is by Napoleon Hill, and it's been over, God knows
That's
how
a
many,
long time.
over 25, no, over 50 years, I think.
That's a long time.
And it's still being sold. Do you understand what I'm saying? And it's one of the biggest ever selling books in the world, and it's got nothing to do with revelations about sexual stuff. It's just about the science of achievement. Think and Grow Rich. That's it, and it's there, and people are still making purchases. Miles Monroe, his books, Discover Your Talent or Maximizing Your Potential, they are still selling. So I just think that we need to understand that all lives are not the same, and Adjetey has given birth to a particular life. That's the book. We should allow the book to be able to run its course the same way Yvonne has given hers, and we should allow it to run its course. You know.
Kwame, I want to find out from you the timing of release. You think that he could have probably waited a bit, even though it was not in competition with any other book that has been released at the time?
I know. Even before Yvonne released her book, Pusha was ready to also release his. It wasn't as though, okay, Yvonne has released, let me also go and release. You know, we had planned this over time. And so there is nothing really wrong with that. But, you know, the ordinary person on the street may say, oh, because Yvonne has released a book, now every celebrity wants to release a book. But that's not it. If you have your own timelines of, you know, doing your projects, it's up to you to do that. And I don't see how Yvonne's book should affect Pusha's book in any way.
Okay. Now let's move on to the next conversation, which will be the new. I don't know whether you've been there.
And by the way,
he
wanted to launch it on his birthday,
and the 50th birthday,
which was the plan.
Yes, that's the plan. So there can be any other day.
Okay, birthday release. That was a good experience. It was really, really a good experience on that night. You know. Okay, let me leave it there. Let's talk about the.
Yes, you can say it's classic program, Galaxy of Stars, beautiful program, aesthetics on points, picture points from from the entrance all the way through to the very end. The activities in there, performance by Kiddy, the dignitaries that were present, all of that, everything on point. The host, all the elements. They brought their A game. The support from the movie industry was amazing, unparalleled. I mean, everybody was there. It was more like a celebration of their own, and it was good, it was huge, it was beautiful, and it was something to behold. Yeah.
And the fact that he doesn't even look his age,
Exactly.
When he
was younger,
especially when he was called and he was coming up from the stairs, you look at this young man who's telling everybody that he's 50 years.
Some 35-year-old boy.
I'm like, really, but it's all good. It's all good. Now let's talk about the new place. I don't know whether you've been there yet.
Not yet.
Kwame,
please, before we talk about, I think that before we talk about the new, this is just for the record though. That book is loaded. And when I say, it's loaded, and I think that we need to be able to highlight these things whenever we have the opportunity. We're always talking about the things on the side, but we need to talk about the contents of the book. It's loaded heavily, from chapter 1 all the way through to the end. In the book, you'll find so many lessons, things that he shared. He talks about one of the key things about theater is the fact that he talks about how the audience need to be able to learn to hold themselves and not to interject or create some funny laughter or gestures that can interrupt people when they are on the stage and stuff like that. And I thought that was huge because it did a contrast with a session they had in France and how the audience were quite different from the exactly. And then he brought those highlights. He talked about what he thought the future of the theater in Ghana was going to be like.
And he's a lecturer.
Yes, and all of those elements are there. He talked about him as Adjetey Anang and how to handle his wife in public areas, which I think is key.
And he's done pretty well with that
and then the wife also had the opportunity to talk about how she also dealt with or handles his stardom when they go out in public, which again is important because many people are getting married to celebrities. I don't know if they are how it's going, but at the end of the day, these are key lessons you'll be able to get. In there, they talk about professionalism, the fact that he does research before he comes on stage. He will even engage you if you have scripts for him and all of that. He'll come up with extra research to be able to see how you can build it together. You finish the event, he is actually willing to support you in terms of promoting the event without taking extra cash. He's interested in the success of the project, not like I've taken a short video and all. Like there are so many things in there. Exactly, so many things in there, and I think that we need to be able to bring out these elements because the things he's teaching, they are huge. And the fact that he's actually sharing his imperfection in a world where everybody tries to prove that they are infallible. They don't make mistakes. Everybody looks like they are perfect. It's a new twist to bravery and courage. You understand? So I think these are the elements we need to be able to project. And clearly, yes, people may not be talking about it because it's their own volition. But when we have platforms of this nature and we are supposed to propagate something that's good, that's supposed to inform and nurture societal values, we need to be able to push it out there. That's why, for me, I think that anybody out there who wants to learn anything and everything about becoming Adjetey Anang or becoming that particular star or walking the path of stardom, please, it is necessary for you to go grab that book and have it in your library.
And I'm excited particularly about the fact that almost everyone that has been around him, most of the things that he said in the book, they have been testaments to.
Yeah.
You get it?
Yeah.
Like in real, those who have been so close to him or those who have been in this space with him, when they tell you the Adjetey that they know, if you want to do a better analysis of the situation, you will not even think about the cheating aspect that he mentioned in the book.
Sure.
You rather want to be focusing on the things that he's, enumerated in the book that are the positives. Because that's the real him right there.
And nothing beats, you can see yourself as a like KMJ. You see your body you day from. Nothing beats your colleagues in the same space with experience who understand the rudiments of the game to be able to review your work. And when they review your work, the kind of words they say about you, man, awesome. At this point, I'm actually wondering what people go talk about me. But you get what I'm saying? It's like peer review, no, and it's incredible peer review. You should listen to what Shelley said. You should listen to what Ivan Kwashiga said. You should listen to what Lydia Forces. Lydia Forces was loaded. And I'm like, man. These are things that certainly, if anybody should die, and they are reading tributes, these are the things you want to hear.
And it's not like they're faking it. That's that aspect of it. It's not like they're faking it. It's like we've known this guy inside out. And so what you probably know, what he's even saying,
more.
And so to us, it's not even what we want to be listening to. Because if you weigh the options from where he has been and the things, the impact he's made, and to that cheating aspect that everybody seems to be getting on right now, the difference is huge. You know, and moving forward, I know there's going to be a lot more of these books coming out.
Yes,
like
yes.
Robert is saying.
There should. I think more books should come out. People should tell their stories. People should tell their stories because you see, the internet is a global library. Unfortunately, we are probably the ones who are not contributing content to the internet in terms of what we have done and our story and our heroes and da. Because you see, when we're young, if you're doing debates, if you want to do anything, you want to say, oh, and George Padmore said this.
Yeah.
And you make reference, and Kuma said this.
Yeah.
And after a while, you want to make reference, and we've gone out of Ghana and we are in America because we don't have our local heroes and their great speeches or things they've said. We want to be able to, quote to reinforce the kind of message we want to be able to share. I think that people need to. We are here every day. Like
we need to write more.
We need to write more. We need to have our stories out there. I'm here if I want to get information about Alicia Keys, I'll get it. Now, if I come here and I want to get information about our stars, then it's it's difficult to get, and you can't tell even if the information is accurate. You get what I'm saying? So I think that we need to be able to tell more of our stories. The internet, we need to put out there. And I give kudos to all dancers who are listening because, from Azonto time till present, we've been putting out the dance on the internet. You can find it. But the story no day. Anyways, like I was saying, let's go ahead. I'm not taking credit. I said big up to all the dancers.
You mentioned that from the beginning.
And the writers who have also written some stuff on the internet.
Want to be in the picture. But Kwame, one important thing though I want to ask you. You write a lot. So did you at a point, maybe in 10 years back, or in 15 years back, or maybe even like in 5 years back, did you see us getting to this point? Where people be writing? Where a lot of people now feel like, what, let me just do this. I mean, if you look back like 6 years ago, when at the time Bola opened our eyes to this, there's no doubt about it. Proud to that, there are others who have written. But Bola's own was more like, because it came with a certain attention from the media as well, so it was more like an opening
maybe,
for us. But do we see ourselves
maybe because it's in the creative space, that is why this is new to us. People
but I'm talking about the creative space,
industry. No, but you see, memoir writing is not new like that. Elsewhere in other parts of the world, people write memoirs all the time. And we live in a society where we look up to the Western world and all that. So nothing surprises me, especially when I see that people take inspiration from things happening elsewhere to replicate that in our country. I didn't really imagine seeing us writing books now, but everything is possible. So I think just as Robert said, we should be writing more, and not just about our personal lives, as in how I went to school, education, all that, but critical issues. Now they did an Afrobeat documentary, and people were like,
broad issues and all that.
There
were some
discrepancies.
In the story. We could have told the story in a certain way. If it's High Life documentary, do we even have one? The High Life book that we have is
in High Life Time, right?
High Life Time.
You should see the size of the book. Fill away the inside. But I don't know how many of us have read it.
So if tomorrow KMJ wants to even write about broadcasting, event hosting and all that, that'll be fine. So we need to write more. Actually, it's a culture that we should cultivate. Yeah,
I think moving forward to the reception will be a reason for people to either do it or not. Because it's true. Because
if you don't put something in there,
where we've got into right now, if there's nothing that anybody can just say, oh, this one is a driving, whatever it is, so let's go and read the book. Many people actually had to read the books that have been written because of those elements that were put in the books, and for that, some people would have just said, oh, it's the normal actually book in the end of the day.
No, but we always need to understand that for every market there are segments, and a thing cannot be for everybody. Even though there's a lot of people making noise about some of the books. So, for example, a lot of people made noise about Yvonne Nelson's books. How many of them bought it? Do you understand what I'm saying? So people can sometimes make noise.
Got leaked.
Yeah, it got. That's extremely sad. That's like bad.
That happened to.
That's piracy.
Adjetey's own has.
So again, let's just say that people can make noise, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they actually go and make the purchase. So the truth is, there are always segments in markets, and you may succeed selling to X, but you may not succeed selling to Y, and that's the reality. So let's just not say it, but because of the reception, let's also look at the fact that it's something that has to be done. And when you write a book, it's 10 years, it's still here. I mean, you'll still be able to, make inroads from it.
Becomes a historical document.
So let's just churn out stuff. It's necessary, Charlie. I think it's very, very necessary.
One person I'm hoping to see his book and read, though, is Abeku Santana.
Oh. See? When Abeku Santana writes his story, everything about music industry, from his perspective, some nuggets will certainly drop.
Yeah, exactly.
Sammy Forson,
too much wisdom.
Sammy Forson, if he should write, good. Sammy Forson, if he should write a story, some filler will get that we don't have. Hammer, if he should write a story, some filler will get that we don't have. Imagine, just list them.
Yeah, it will be a very beautiful. Yeah.
Look at all these guys, even KKD.
Yeah.
These guys have a lot of
wisdom, things they have.
Historical info.
Man.
But it's all with them.
It's true. We need for one interview, and people will come and sit there, or any of these people will come and sit there and say, "Oh, I had to jump here, I had to do this, I had to do it." The kind of stories that have motivated these people to actually become who they are today. If they're putting all of that in a book, trust me,
and also
a lot of knowledge.
I think you should go to the extent of inspiring and encouraging people to write other people's stories.
Good.
Okay.
So ghostwriters. Not everybody can
write
their own stuff. Yeah.
And so if I want to write Robert's story, I can just interview him and then write his story.
Yeah.
Maybe embellish it.
Which is also be a good one.
So you want to ask for somebody to come and see you? You want to ask for somebody to come and see you?
Kwame can do that of
I can write a story and Kwame knows some spices.
Kwame knows
it'll be food. It'll be food. What spice do you want to add?
You don't have to go inside out to go for it.
Yeah, so Charlie,
it will be good for him.
If they don't want to write it by themselves, they should give it to us to do that. We charge them and then we write for them.
Well, of course, certainly.
Yeah. Anyway, so Yvonne Nelson's own had the forward was who? Manasseh?
The forward, yeah.
Okay.
This one had the forward by Albert Okran.
Okay.
So, we know those who write this book, so...
You know what?
What are you suggesting?
Oh, no. And those two people are very fantastic people.
Yeah, they are very, very fantastic people.
Mr. Albert Okran and Manasseh. If these two people are behind your book, behind your book, I mean, obviously, I understand why if one else's book got to where he got to.
Exactly.
I understand where Adjetey's book is getting where it's getting to. Our next conversation, Robert, come on now. You look at the two personalities very well, right?
And you see...
Come on now.
Okay. Come on what?
See,
if you don't get it...
You were going to the next topic.
If you don't get it, forget about it.
You were going to the next
topic. Two fantastic people, well delivered, memoir. I mean, we should just be excited that we are living in this kind of experience. I love it. Now, you said you've not been to the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park yet.
Not yet. I've seen pictures. I'll go there personally to do a project there.
Oh, okay.
I want to go to the restaurant and go see the amphitheater as well. Yeah, and check the... And then if anything,
the fountain.
The fountain, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll be there.
Robert has been there.
Yeah.
Great. Robert, so before we get to the major issue, which is going to be the issue of maintenance, because once you get there, you see all the beautiful things you want to see. Now the question you'll be asking yourself is, this is going to be open to people, so in the next 5 years, what happens to it? But let me have your view on the fact that we had to do this for Nkrumah and what it means to us as a nation. Okay,
first of all, we didn't do this for Nkrumah. Or we didn't do this just for Nkrumah.
Okay, because there's been that call. So,
it's not just for Nkrumah.
Yeah.
And the significance of the Memorial Park and everything Nkrumah represents is in multiple ways. What you see there has a historical value. Mm-hmm. It also has a spiritual value. Because anybody who... If you understudy Nkrumah, the fact that he moved from Ghana to Lincoln University in US, and then he started reading and got the influences of Karl Marx and what's his name, Marcus Garvey and all those folks, moved from that place, went to the UK to be a part of the Pan-African conference that they held, because he was associating himself with all of these folks. it basically tells you that these people, for them, it's not just, when we talk about the Pan-Africanism, it's not just a story. It's something that has significant meaning to life. You understand? So, year of return happening and people coming to this space to be able to understand the slave trade and everything happening.
Yeah.
That particular place is one of the places that also completes their spiritual exercise, or that connectivity, making them feel like they are complete. So it has a particular import. That particular site again is a symbol of Pan-Africanism, and so I like the fact that a lot of things have been added. They've added a library to it, which is supposed to collect all the information out there on elements that feeds Pan-Africanism, and you'll not be able to appreciate this so much until you understand the works of Marcus Garvey, the works of George Padmore, and all the freedom fighters in the past. You understand? And there's also, the element of tourism is there. You want to go and learn and all of that, But these are key things that particular site simply means. And so a thing like that is not just about Nkrumah. And it cannot just be about Nkrumah. And it's not just for the country, but it is for everything that was sparked some many years ago. And the fact that we were the first country in sub-Saharan Africa to begin living the dream of the Pan-African activists. You understand what I'm saying? So you realize that on the day of the night of independence, or on the dawn of independence, I'm not sure whether it was night or day, but it was dark. During the independence, the speech that Nkrumah made, he actually acknowledged Marcus Garvey and co. There were names he mentioned that he said that the dreams of these people, tonight they actually witnessed it happening. So he had to even mention their name on that particular night. So it's very, very symbolic. It's very, very important. Its relevance is so huge, and it's connects to a lot of people West Africa wise. In fact, we were just told that this past weekend, one of the presidents, I'm not sure whether it was Tanzania or something, was there. And to be able to watch, be able to go through the place and understand exactly what the place was about. And they have a VIP lounge for that particular purpose, because they are saying that they envisage a lot more presidents will be coming, and they just want to be able to have the facility to be present for them. So I think that it's huge, it's befitting, it's proper. I love it. And I just pray that at the end of the day we are able to maintain it and allow it to serve the purpose for which it's been sown.
Okay, great. If you just join us here on the show, this is Prime Morning, and we're speaking entertainment here on the show. My guest in the studio, Robert Kla, is here with me. Kwame Dazi is also here with me. We've spoken about the books of Yvonne Nelson and Adjetey, and the very new one that is on the market. So please do well and purchase the book and read it. This one says, "Good morning, guys. Perfect analysis. I'm really enjoying your program. Big ups, guys. I'm Yunus from the Wazongo." All right, Yunus, good to know that you're tuned in this morning. So we had a bit of an extended time, but unfortunately we'll be wrapping up very soon. But we're glad that you're still here with us. Kwame.
Yeah, before I start, somebody says, "Boss, please ask the host if he'll one day write a book from Tina Baby." I know you know the person, don't worry.
Yeah, that's incredible.
When we're young,
Kwame will write my book for me.
Yes,
so,
I will.
That's
that wedding that you did in Koforidua.
That club,
Yeah, the one I emceed.
Kwame, we have 2 minutes.
I'm happy.
You still remember? Okay. Oh, come on now. That was a fake wedding,
happy
by
that the Nkrumah Memorial Park has been made into an agency. Okay, so they can take things into their hands, if you like, and
they're independent,
yeah,
and then manage the affairs of the park. And I'm happy that this is going to boost our tourism fortunes, because this government, when it came into power, one of the things that it set out to do was to promote tourism in this country. Yes, we have the Ministry of Tourism, Art and Culture, and most times we complain about the fact that the creative arts and the culture sectors are not really being pushed that much. But I'm happy to say that I've seen how dedicated the government is in pushing tourism. And if we continue like this, possibly we might have ripple effects on the other sectors, the culture and tourism as well, and arts as well, because you see, these three sectors are interrelated. And so we're just looking forward to how this particular project, as in the park, is also going to impact all the other sectors. And it's very possible. Just last weekend, we saw how Samini and the concert. And I'm happy that they are using some of these things to give the place some buzz and visibility and to tell people that, yes, the park or the mausoleum is back. Now, for people in Ghana, this is not just for the Pan-Africanists from other parts of the world coming to see, but I think that we should also try to encourage people to go see that, the park. Because as Ghanaians, one thing that most people don't really care about is domestic tourism. So it should start from us. People from various parts of the country should go there to see all the things in there. And I'm happy we have a restaurant in there. You see, we have a small theater in there. At the mention, 50 seater,
which is cool.
At the mention of theater in this industry, you see, when you mention theater, people are so happy because because of the promises and all that. And so I'm happy that we have all these things there. And the fact that Robert mentioned the other time that he was giving an account of the fountain and the music in the fountain, the fact that some Ghanaian songs were being played there. And I've said this before, that we should make sure we maintain that Ghanaian music thing in the fountain, so that tomorrow it doesn't turn out to be some foreign songs being played there. I'm not saying I have anything against playing foreign music, but I think that this one being iconic and representing Kwame Nkrumah, it should be very Ghanaian, so that anybody who comes from wherever sees that, okay, this is a complete package that is serving the purpose for which it was intended. And so I'm happy. And they are expecting 1 million people to visit the place every year. You know, previously it was 98,000. Now 1 million. It means that they need to do a lot to get people to go there.
Okay. Unfortunately, our time is up, but let me say thanks to you guys for coming through this morning. Hopefully next week we'll be able to have a conversation around maintenance. So, you know, because it's going to be an expanded conversation.
25 years later, they will go and renovate it.
Well, that's the words of Kwame Dazi. But thanks, Robert Clark is the PR of Charterhouse. Kwame Dazi is the host of Showbiz A to Z on Joy 99.7 FM. Tomorrow at 2 p.m., I'm sure he's going to be delving into some of these conversations. So please do well to listen. That'll be our time for this morning here on the show. God bless you for watching. Thanks to the production team.